As becoming a politician, it's not an easy thing. And to be honest with you guys, I know that sometimes, we can criticize politicians, we can, say things, and sometimes other people, they end up insulting them or anything like that. But to be honest with you, it's not an easy thing to be a politician. Actually, I believe that people who become politicians or who decide to be politicians, I must just give it to them, especially to these parties that are big parties. Anything can happen. But anyway, we are going to listen to Panyaza Lesufi. We all know what was happening when it comes to Helen Zille and Panyaza Lesufi. They are always fighting, so I'm going to listen to that part of the video because obviously any podcast he goes to or interview, they will ask him this question about Helen Zille, DA, Gauteng, and also the Pretoria, the Tshwane thing, mayorship thing. Anyway, let's get to it and let's listen. Please like the video, that would be appreciated.
SCP, it's General Secretary we had on this show, and I was quite surprised by just how candid Mr. Mapaila was, speaking about how disappointed the SACP was with the decision, particularly to ally with the DA. Of course, you can't make everyone happy in an arrangement like this, but what do you make of that kind of quite public condemnation of this coalition from alliance partners?
He has the right to raise his views. We fought for openness, frankness. He has the right to register his dissatisfaction. Because it's only when somebody raises that dissatisfaction that there will be commitment to listen to them and try to resolve them. But if you want to suppress people's views, those views will go underground, and they're more dangerous when they're underground.
Yeah, sure.
If you understand, then we'll use the mechanisms that we have as the alliance to say, let's hear you. Because I don't think that we are all perfect. I don't think that the GNU that we have now, it's perfect to meet our ambitions of a national democratic revolution. It's a setback that will be celebrated by those that hate the ANC. It's a setback that will be utilized by those that hate non-racialism to say we got them. It's a setback that will ensure that the policy positions that we have on various components will be derailed. We have seen that with the Bella Bill, something very, very close to my heart. We have seen that with NHI, that because now we are caught within this Bella Bill, we'll be reminded we have lost power. Don't just pass laws as if we are still in power. So those limitations, we must be honest,
and unfortunately, Helen Zille did actually say before, to say that if the ANC think they are going to, in a GNU, if they think they are going just to make decisions, just like that, then they must think again, because now they are no longer in power, they are in a GNU. That means for the reason why they are in government, it's because of us, that means. Or maybe I can say because of the other parties. And unfortunately, guys, and I can understand that this thing of GNU, it puts, or it has how many parties? 11 parties, 10 parties, I think. I do understand all of that. But the other parties, they are nowhere to be seen. Nowhere. Especially when it comes to these other things. It's just quiet. It's just the DA and the EFA and the ANC. Not even ANC. Some of the members of the ANC, that actually don't agree with the DA, because whether we like it or not, Panyaza Lesufi, when it comes to the DA, he doesn't feel it, and it's a problem, guys. And it seems like there's going to be problems here the more we go on, Helen Zille made it very clear that you are not going to do the way you want. You have to consult us. You have to get an approval, in fact, from us. That means anything you do, you must come to us. And unfortunately, when it comes to agreements, if the other party doesn't agree, that thing it's not supposed to happen. But fortunately for them, they have got other parties. Maybe for example, Patriotic Alliance. Actually, I think they did agree with the Pella Bill, and also maybe the other parties, maybe they did, even though they had some issues with it. But I think, but anyway, Helen Zille did say so.
The National Democratic Revolution, and therefore we need voices that can raise limitations about them and say, no. This is not the way things are. I mean, the removal of the mayor of Tshwane,
yes,
have genuinely exposed
absolutely,
and addressed those that believe they've got the birthright to govern. That where we govern, don't touch us. If you touch us, you will see who we are. Forgetting that they themselves, where they govern, they don't want the ANC closer. So
sure.
So GNU has its own limitation, challenges. I've seen people celebrating 100 years. It's an achievement. No one gave us a chance that two competing political parties and many other political parties can establish government and government functions. So it's work in progress where I stand, but it's something that we must not forget, that in the ultimate end, it's not the vehicle that can take us where we want to go. The vehicle that can take us where we want to go is the African National Congress that have recovered from its weaknesses, is the African National Congress that can run this government alone.
Now, in this period of coalition formation, and different things have happened in different metros and municipalities, provinces, and of course nationally, I've been a bit surprised because there's been an attempt to portray you as some kind of, quote, and I quote, wedge driver, as a threat to the GNU. Of course, we had Helen Zille recently talking about how you are trying to be the tail that wags the dog. Adrian Basson had this to say. I actually have to read it because I nearly fell off my chair. He said, Ramaphosa needs to take charge and show Lesufi who's the boss. And then effectively said that the Gauteng province must be placed under some kind of administrative leadership. Basically begging Ramaphosa to, remove you from Gauteng. How do you respond to this narrative that has started to grow around you from some quarters that you are trying to divide the coalition government?
Well, it's during the apartheid, we call it Stratcom. The apartheid regime established a machinery to badmouth or instill fear in white South Africans. So here it's the same script, but different actors. During that period,
do you remember what Busisiwe Mkhwebane said? She actually said this.
In this movie, with these characters, praise yourself.
The regime said or planted a message of Swart Gevaar. That black people, if they take over, they will kill your children. Black people, when they take over, they will do all these bad things, drive you to the sea and all other things. Such an extent that on the eve of freedom, some people went into mountains, bought their food to stay there, and stocked food. Immediately after freedom or 1994 breakthrough, they then have this thing called Rooi Gevaar. everything is communist. Communist wants to take over the ANC, and when communists take over the ANC, your property is our property, your food is my food. So they punted that message. And when that message could not succeed, they identified certain leaders of the ANC. They called them hawks or radicals. Krisani, Joe Slovo, the leader that groomed me, Harry Kwala, Winnie Mandela. And said, no, these ones are good, but these ones, they're bad.
Yeah.
And that's how Krisani was assassinated. So there were leaders that were labeled as bad leaders in the ANC. So the regime is doing the same with me. They know my view about Bella Bill. They know my view about NHI. They know my view about race. I hate racism with passion. I hate it. But I'm addicted to non-racialism. You can't claim, because racists are mindless, useless, poor thinkers, selfish and greedy. They feel everything belongs to them and them alone. Any other person must join on their terms. So you must be this black person that listens to them, dance to their tune. And I'm not that person. I'm not going to do that. I'll never dance to a tune of a white person who's racist in particular. I'll never dance to a tune of somebody who feels that they're superior. I'll never dance to a tune on somebody that feels that they've got the birthright to control our lives and other things. They might have oppressed our grandparents and succeeded. They might have oppressed our parents and succeeded. We tested them and defeated them. And they can't reverse that defeat by wanting to oppress our children and our children's children. It will never happen. And we'll be the last bloc to defend that. Whether they label us the way they want to label us is up to them. But racism is something that cannot be embraced, cannot be negotiated with, and cannot be tolerated. It must be crushed, and crushed mercilessly. We must not tolerate somebody who wants to hide behind the broomstick and say, no, this is my cultural right. How many cultures do you have? People from Venda, they have their culture. Who disrupted their culture? If they want to practice their culture during their national days, they do that freely in a free South Africa. Why a certain race believe that they must be alone and they must be them alone, do things alone, take their children to a school alone? Any other culture must not come. If you want to come closer to them, you must make an application in your own country, creating no-go areas in our country. It can be. And if I have to pay the price of insults because I'm standing firm on those views, if I have to pay the price of being recalled by president because I'm standing firm on that, if I have to be insulted by Zille because I'm standing, let it be. What I know, it's quite clear that some of the media houses are hired guns, that some of the media houses lack the creativity and the analysis and the independence that they're supposed to uphold. And I was not surprised. You must check News 24 or Naspers, the first quarter of the declaration of political funding, who they funded first. They funded the Democratic Alliance. So whatever the Democratic Alliance, we know News 24 will be the publication that must amplify their message.
There was, there was a time, a long time ago, I was watching Fast and Furious. I don't remember which number was, or 7, I think it was 7 or whatever. There's a guy there, Ludacris, I think, the other guy who is in that movie. He was talking to one of the guys, the black guy. Who is that guy? I forgot his name, the singer. And also that lady that they call Ramsey. He actually spoke to the other guys and said, do you know if they want to destroy someone, what they do? He said they will create something that is a lie, and speak about it or mention it or push it to such an extent that it ends up look like as if it's a truth and it's a lie. In other words, they will push it to such an extent that every person will view that person as in like that person is that thing, you know. So when he says that others, you know, it's clear now that they are using the media, they are using these guys to push some narratives or maybe to push some agenda against the people that they don't like. I believe it because I've seen it. I think all of us, we have seen it, guys. Please don't pretend here as if like you don't see these things. Unfortunate, because other people, when they see such things, they keep quiet. You don't say anything, you try to be nice. This thing of being nice, sometimes you end up accepting everything and anything that you shouldn't be accepting, you know. So Panyaza Lesufi is talking about the media, you know. He's aware of what is going on, you know. And if people think that people are asleep, he knows what is going on. And I'm sure he's prepared for anything, you know. That's why when I started, I said, being a politician, it's very tough.
You will check when News 24 was attacking former Deputy President Mashatile. Which political party did it go to the union building to demand the resignation of? It's the DA. So I'm not worried about hired journalists to attack me or analysts. I mean, you check the last Sunday newspaper, 3 columns in the Sunday Times, one message, this Panyaza Lesufi. And there's no decision that I've taken alone. The decision to establish a government of provincial unity, it was the national office bearers of the ANC who took over the negotiations. They deadlocked with Helen Zille. I was in that meeting. He knows that they deadlocked with our national leadership. And the national leadership gave us the go-ahead to establish government after we've postponed the announcement twice. So why will they openly lie and say that we're establishing the government of provincial unity in Gauteng to spite at national leadership or to demonstrate that we are rogues? We are not.
And it was the same for Tshwane.
It was the same for Tshwane as well.
And the way he's actually saying it, you can tell that they are trying to make him look as if he just want to work alone somewhere, you know. That means he wants to work without you know, consulting anybody, even Ramaphosa, even, you know, he just does his thing, his own thing on the side. They want to make him look like he wants to be like, for example, I don't know, I can't make any examples, but like as a person who doesn't listen to anyone, you know. And unfortunately, guys, Panyaza Lesufi, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, Panyaza Lesufi knows that he's under ANC, and he also knows that if it wasn't the ANC, he wouldn't be where he is in terms of position. He wouldn't be a mayor, he wouldn't be a premier, okay? All this time, he knows exactly that the reason why he's there, it's because of he's the member of the ANC. You cannot be in those positions without you being in a political party. So he respects that, and I am definitely sure that if he was doing his own thing, they would have disciplined him. He's a member, he's not a boss, you know. And now they are trying to make him look as if like he's doing his own thing, and which we can see. So some of us, we see what's going on. And this thing of Gauteng, with this thing of Gauteng of GPU, government of province, right? That thing, it happened, the way it happened, we were all there, we saw on TV, you know. Panyaza Lesufi made it very clear and said, we tried to negotiate, but the DA was being difficult and all of that. Then he came with the documents, and signed and everything, the demands of the DA and everything. So we all know that the negotiations collapsed. What must they do then? They must sit back and say, the DA, it doesn't want 1, 2, 3, and then we have to wait. Then the province stops, there is no government, they are fighting together, people are suffering, you know. So it's very important, guys, that when we look at things, I know that some of us, we don't like ANC, we don't like ANC because of what they've done in terms of corruption and all of these things, okay? But there are people in the ANC that are good leaders, okay? They try their best. They are not perfect, but they try their best. And I'm not advocating for ANC. We all know what they have done. We all know that they do have leaders that are not good, but there are leaders who are good. And those who are good, we need to actually make sure that, we protect them, if I may put it that way. It can't be, there is no way that there is a party that is there and then all of them are bad. There is no way. Just like MK, there are people who are good there. Just like EFF, there are people who are good there, who can be good leaders, and some of them have seen them. All these parties, they do have good people, and those people, they need to be protected, because next time are the people that we will be voting for. So we need to protect them. Okay, I'm talking about every party now. Okay, because unfortunately, there is no country, it seems like there is no country without government. We are all under governments, and there is nothing we can do. Everything is about politics. You sleep, it's politics. Okay, when I say you sleep, it's politics. It's politics because when you sleep, you need safety. Security. When you travel with your car, it's politics. The road, you complain. When the road it's not good, who is not fixing? Politics. You get to work, politics everywhere. So whether we like it or not, we are under it, and we need to pay attention.
The national go ahead for that.
Yes. So they are barking at the wrong tree, crying at the wrong funeral, trying to establish whether they can link me to things that they've done worse. I can tell you shocking things where they're trying to recruit people to say things about me because they feel that there's nothing tangible that they can get to paint. A leader that is not accused of being corrupt in South Africa is not a leader. So they must find a way of dealing with these particular issues. And purely because...
Yeah, I think with Panyaza Lesufi and the way he speaks, now, I am not trying to defend anybody here, but there is no way you can find a person who is a leader who can speak about things that are tangible. Like like the way he speaks, he says, because they don't find anything that is corrupt around him, so they want to use other strategies, to deal with him, or to take him, to maybe to remove him or anything like that, or to make him look bad. If they don't find anything corrupt, they will use other means. They will use other ways, just like Malema. Malema, when he speaks in terms of other things, he does say sometimes and say, I know these people, they want to use something, they want to use things against me. They know they don't have anything on me when it comes to corruption. So they use other ways. So I think also with Panyaza is the same thing. They are trying by all means to get him, but they can't, because it's not corrupt. It seems like it's not corrupt. And a person who speaks like this, guys, to be honest with you, when it comes to me and myself and in my corner, it's a person that I can be able to say, listen, you deserve to be a leader, my guy, because we tired of corruption. So we want people who are not corrupt. Unfortunately, everyone that is in leadership from the side of the ANC, unfortunately, we all know, guys, they always face things. And it's easy for other parties to get rid of them. That means to deal with them because they have some issues. They've got some skeletons, behind them. And when people who want to deal with them, it's easy. They just use another case, or that was old, or they can use something that you did in the past, just like the Minister of Justice. We never knew that thing happened. And then they use it now. It was there, but they're using it now, So it's just like that, guys. And if we've got people that are good leaders, that are not corrupt, we just need to make sure that maybe, I can even say, I don't want to say protect them, but at least, have some hope, noma ingasinkulu, but at least encane to say at least there's someone, And they know that if Panyaza Lesufi can do this thing well, you might end up being up there, being a president, and it's gonna be a problem for the other guys, for the other oppositions, because it seems like Panyaza is sort of like Pan-African person, like he will lean more on people like Malima, lean more on people like, MK Party in terms of the black thing. Okay. And as he said, guys, and I'm not saying that because I'm thinking he's leaning more, or maybe he's working with the AFF or anything. As he said, he's against racism, but he is also believes, or is addicted to non-racialism. Okay, that means he is not what can I say? Uguti, I'm only wanting this type of people. I don't want whites, I don't want this, but he's accommodative of everybody. But he doesn't like racism. Okay? But anyway, let's go on.
Of course, of the standpoint that they've taken, in Sizwe, we remain strong. The DA is not a branch of the ANC. Helen Zille is not a member of the ANC. And the African National Congress must be given space and time to resolve its internal issues. It can't be pressurized by outsiders, where even a senior editor of a publication have the nerve to instruct our president to say, remove this one. It's not the good black one, this one. The others leave them. They're good black, they're cooperating, only this one. The apartheid regime undermined my father. The apartheid regime took over my brother. The apartheid regime refused me to choose a career that I loved. The apartheid regime denied my family an opportunity to be a better family because they took somebody who was about to be a breadwinner out of that family. We've gone through pain. But what did we say? We want to live together with you. We didn't say you have oppressed us. We didn't say you have thrown us in homelands. We didn't say you have denied us good education. It's our turn to oppress you. We said, regardless of the pain that we've taken through, we are prepared to stay with you. Those that we say we are prepared to stay with you are showing us the middle finger. Say, according to their culture, they don't want to stay with us, regardless of the pain that they have. They've killed our brothers in June 16 in Soweto on the basis of language. Today, they want to behave as if they don't know why June 16 was there. It was a language thing that denied us a quality education. But they want to behave the way they want to behave. And they will not find it. They might have oppressed those that have oppressed, but will never oppress our children and our children's children again. And the Bella Bill, it's a stamp that cannot be erased. They can want 3 months to negotiate on it. It must be implemented the way it is, and no one must tamper with that particular. It was passed unanimously by Parliament, and it must be respected if they want to respect the law. They can't say we must respect private property clause of our constitution, but they don't want to respect the right of Parliament to pass a law and that law to be implemented. And they are now mobilizing literally everyone to denounce us, thinking that by demonizing us, the Bella Bill will not be executed. We are watching them, and they must know we are children of Oliver Tambo, children of Winnie Mandela, and children of Harry Kwala. We are not easily intimidated, and there's no enemy that thinks that they can do as they wish. We fought for this country, we'll defend this country, and no one will force apartheid or racist legislation through our throats. They can use culture as a smokescreen. Reality is that they are racist, they are greedy, and they are not even prepared to live with fellow South Africans, but they want the tax of fellow South Africans to only be concentrated to their children. It will never happen. Those schools belongs to all of us. Those schools belongs to all our children, and our children have the right to enter those schools and go and play football or play whatever they want to play in those particular schools. There is no school that is an enclave in this country, and we must not tolerate people that think that they can intimidate us by bad press. They can intimidate us by hiring analysts to write bad about us. They can intimidate us by singling us out and labeling us as rogues. We can be rogues, but non-racialism will be firm and will defend it.
Fam, you asked for some
And I want And I want to ask you guys a question before I close. Uguti, why do you think these guys, I'm not going to mention names, but why do you think these guys are interested in these metros? You know? Because the other party of the GNU is interested in the metros. They want the metros so much that if they get, first of all, if they get the metros in government, if they get these very important ministries, Ministry of Justice, military, and all these things, okay, if they get those, they are okay. I think they wouldn't even care, you know. And maybe if they can get, and I also believe that maybe the deputy president, I think they will be okay. Why are they interested in these metros? For me, I can think of one thing. That will be what? That will be the economy. That will be, you know, it's all about the economy, guys. It's all about taking control of that. If you get control of that, you are okay, you know. Because remember, there is private sector, there is what, there is what. Okay, so we need to understand that since they are interested in these metros and they want all of them, trust me, guys, they want them. And you are asking yourself why. It's very simple. It's the economy. Umnotho bafethu. Bawuthola abaqedile. You know, they will do whatever they want to do. They can control things they want the way they want to control. Because of why? Because they've got all the mnotos. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please tell me, what do you think? You can like, you can share. You can go and watch the whole video, the whole interview. He was talking about a lot of things, GNU, talking about DA Zille, talking about ANC, you know, everything. And also about his personal life. So you can go and watch. Thank you, guys. You have a fantastic day. I will put the link in the comments. Sharp, or in the description. Sharp, afetu. Nibe no sugo elihle, sharp.